Greetings, guys, gals, non-binary pals, and welcome to this week's fun video of the week. We all remember the bean soup fiasco, right? That one lady on TikTok who made like 5 bean soup where the main ingredient was beans because, you know, it was bean soup. And there were a bunch of comments being like, I don't really like beans. What can I use instead? Can I substitute the beans with anything? And and everyone was just like, what's happening? What's going on? This is bean soup. It's bean soup. Why are people asking how to make bean soup without beans? Go just find a different soup recipe. You know, we all remember that. It was so funny and so ridiculous. And it happens all the time. And I've wanted to talk about it for ages, but I was struggling to find them because they're kind of just like coming up out of nowhere every now and then. But then I discovered that, of course, there is a whole subreddit dedicated to this. And as soon as I found this out, I was so happy. I was stoked because this is my favorite thing ever. It's so funny. And I really need to go over some of these with you and share them and have a bit of a laugh. So this is from the Reddit r/I didn't have eggs, where people leave reviews on recipes where they changed the recipe and are upset with how it came out. And it's glorious. So buckle up. Let's have some fun. And if you enjoy this video, please do not forget to hit subscribe. I'm trying to hit 500k by the end of the year and it really helps me out. So thank you. I appreciate it. And let's dive in and look at some of this absolute madness. This is a comment on a recipe that reads, "Really loved the taste, but mine were also dry and cakey. I cut down the sugar a little bit and used demerara instead of granulated and cacao instead of cocoa powder. Any suggestions to make them more fishy?" I feel like fishy is the wrong word, but I don't know what word they were looking for. So I'm just gonna ignore it because the advice is gonna be the same, and the advice is maybe follow the directions. If you cut back the sugar, you're already fucking with it. And then you change the type of sugar too, you're fucking with it even more. And cacao and cocoa are not the same thing. If you change the recipe, it's gonna change the texture and the taste. It seems like really obvious, and I don't know why people don't seem to understand this. But if you were serious and you do want it to be more fishy, my suggestion is to add fish sauce. Then it'll be fishy. Or just a fish. Fishy chocolate cake. Yummy. So this is a comment on a recipe that says, "Many ingredients I already have, but beans I didn't buy. Is there any substitution?" And so you might be sitting here and asking, what did they comment this on? What recipe did they comment this on? Maybe it's one where beans are easily subbed out. It's commented on black bean brownies. So maybe, sir, you should go find any other brownie recipe. How were you searching up brownies and then you selected like the only one that requires beans and commented asking what to use instead of beans? Like, shocking to find out, but most brownies don't actually contain beans. And it's actually a very simple solution. So I don't know what you're doing commenting, asking this, when clearly it's a very crucial part of this recipe. Looking to make double chocolate loaf without adding bananas. Will it affect the final product? And can I use vegetable oil instead of butter? Hi, Anisha. Bananas are a big part of this banana bread recipe. That is such a funny, I fucking love that sentence. Hi, bananas are a big part of the banana bread recipe. Like, no shit. Imagine commenting on a banana bread recipe being like, "Hi, I kind of want to take out the bananas." The comment continued with like, "So we wouldn't recommend leaving them out. If you're not a fan of bananas, you might like our double chocolate zucchini bread instead. Butter creamed with sugar is the base of this recipe and gives it that lush, rich flavor. Oil won't substitute perfectly. This double chocolate muffins recipe uses oil instead of butter and can be made as quick as bread." If you don't want banana bread and you want double chocolate loaf, go find a chocolate recipe. Go find a chocolate cake recipe. Go to the double chocolate zucchini bread. Go somewhere else, maybe not a banana bread. And oil can only be subbed for butter if it has to be melted butter. If it's melted butter, sure, you can use oil. If it's softened or solid butter? No, you obviously can't. It's a different texture. Baking is a science. It's chemistry. Things have to work and be the same. If you remove things, you can't just replace them all willy-nilly. Someone left a 1-star review on a pumpkin pie that says, "Complete fail. Your pumpkin pie recipe did not work for me at all. First off, that's way too much sugar, so I used half the amount because I knew a half cup did not sound right, but I shouldn't have even used that much because it was instantly too sweet. But I thought, trust the process. Then once I mixed everything, I had a feeling the pie was too much liquid, but I read it will harden over time once it cools. And nope, my pie in the inside looks like baby food. This was a complete waste of my time, money, energy, and I am upset that since this being my first time making pie, and I wanted to at least be able to eat some of it. Nope, it went in the trash. I've tried some of your other things and they were alright, but this, nope." Who would have thought that removing a large portion of the dry ingredients would lead to it being too wet? Who would have thunk it? Never would have crossed my mind. Removing dry things? That's definitely not going to make a difference to how wet it is. Use your head. Use your head. Use your head. Also, I love when people are like, half a cup of sugar is too much. It's like, it's not per piece. There's half a cup in the entire thing. That's spread out over the whole thing. Half a cup is not very much for like a large dish. That's not much at all. Bro, if you don't want something sweet, don't make a sweet thing. If you want something sugar-free, Google sugar-free pumpkin pie. Use your brain. Use your brain. This is a comment on some sourdough starter. "This is bubbling and rising, but tastes foul. I had a spoonful, then my husband did. He nearly vomited. There's no way I'm making bread with this." Why? Why? Why would you eat sourdough starter? Why would you think that's a good idea? What possessed you to make sourdough starter and be like, I wonder what this tastes. Don't do that. Why would you think to do that? Also, like, I love this logic of being like, I'm not making bread with that because it tastes bad. Do you decide to, like, not use, I don't know, soy sauce because you drunk a full spoon of soy sauce and is like, that's too salty? Do you, like, take individual ingredients of other things you cook with and then try it and go, that's disgusting by itself before it's in any context, so I'm not going to use it? Do you, like, eat a spoonful of flour before you make a cake and are like, this flour tastes terrible. I'm not baking with that. Probably not, because you're not meant to eat the raw ingredients before they go in stuff. This is what the base of the bread is. It's not the bread. Also, in general, why would you eat raw bread? That would taste terrible. Why are you eating sourdough starter? What's wrong with you? Use your brain. Please. This is another comment on some pumpkin something or other. 1 star from Phil. "I substituted the pumpkin puree for apple cider vinegar and it tasted awful." And then the replies. "Hi Phil, I definitely would not recommend using any apple cider vinegar in this recipe. So sorry you didn't enjoy this." Just to be clear, Phil, you gave this recipe a 1 star because you substituted vinegar in place of the pumpkin puree that the recipe calls for? No one would ever think that vinegar would be a good substitute for pumpkin. And then my favorite reply is from Cece that just says, "No shit, Phil." This is the most baffling one so far because I'm confused as to how in your head you look at pumpkin puree and go, you know what I'm going to use instead? Apple cider vinegar. They don't have a single thing in common. Like, I cannot think of a single thing in common, I guess, other than the fact they both come from fruits, I suppose. Pumpkin puree is a pumpkin that is pureed. It's a solid, for one. It's, I would imagine, a bit of a binding agent. It's, like, kind of sweet, right? I don't really know if pumpkin puree is, like, a specific thing or if it's literal, just, like, pumpkin puree. So it's kind of sweet. And then apple cider vinegar is a liquid. And it's vinegar. In what world would that make a worthy substitute? In what world would you think that that would be a substitute? I'm so confused. And then you come and leave a 1-star review for being an idiot? This is a 1-star review on some cookies. "My 8-year-old son has been asking me for chocolate chip cookies forever, but to me it's unthinkable to make a recipe that calls for 1 cup of butter and 1 cup of sugar. Okay, I know this is America, but there is a way to make this without putting the child in a sugar fat coma. I could just leave the sugar out since chocolate chips have so much sugar in them. But what about the butter? How can I substitute it? Please don't say oil. I've seen it in other recipes. Thank you. Once again, I would like to inform you that the cup of sugar and the cup of butter isn't like per cookie. It's like separated out over all the cookies. So it's not actually that much. It's about the same as, you know, if you were to eat a store-bought cookie as well. And if you want a sugar-free recipe, you're gonna have to Google sugar-free recipe. It's not really much you can substitute it with because you're making chocolate chip cookies. If you want a sugar-free chocolate chip cookie, your 8-year-old's probably not going to enjoy it. It's probably not going to be very good. It's going to be made with like dates or something. It's not going to be very good. But like, good luck. Maybe don't leave a 1-star review on a recipe you didn't cook because you personally think it's too much sugar and butter when it's kind of reasonable for a cookie. Also, what gets me, right, is all these people commenting things like, what can I substitute? Can I use this as a substitute? It's fascinating to me because I would never think to leave a comment like that. What I do is I Google it. I Google it. If I don't have something and I'm like, oh, I wonder if I have a substitute for it, I Google, like, what can I use as a substitute for this? And it'll tell me. Or it's like, we have rice wine vinegar, but I was making something that required like mirin. So I Googled, like, can I substitute white rice vinegar for mirin? And it was like, yeah, you can. I was like, great, fantastic, thank you. That's what, you can Google that. You don't have to leave a 1-star review to ask. You can Google it. And probably in this case, they're going to tell you, no, you can't. Get the fuck over it. But Google is an option. I'm vegan, right? I have been for a very long time before a lot of vegan recipes were like out. And you kind of learn what specific substitutes are, especially for eggs. Right? Like, there are a lot of substitutes you can do for eggs and baking, and everyone prefers like a different one. So you can use like banana, you can use applesauce, you can make a chia egg, you can make a flaxseed egg. There's probably other ones, but those are like the 4 that I typically use. But obviously you can't use any of those things to like make an omelet because it's all about context, right? And I'm gonna Google, like, for starters, I'm not going to go on to like a brownie recipe that has milk and eggs in it and then just do my own substitutions. I could, but I'd rather just go to a vegan recipe and just follow that so that, you know, it works out exactly how it's supposed to and I don't have to make any guesswork. So you can do that. If you want a recipe that follows specific guidelines, Google the guidelines. And if you really want to do this one, then Google substitutions. But then if it doesn't work, that's not her fault. Here's a photo of this brownie and it says fail brownies. So I followed a brownie recipe to the letter, but I added walnuts and omitted sugar. They came out dry, weird textured, and there was a layer of butter on the top. I just don't know why these suck. I'm obsessed with I followed the recipe to the letter, but I added walnuts and omitted sugar. So you didn't follow the recipe to the letter. You removed the sugar. You took out an ingredient. And then you're like, why didn't this work the way it was meant to? Because you removed a whole ingredient. That's going to change the texture. It's going to change the taste. It's going to change everything about it. You can't just remove a whole ingredient and expect it to work. Oh my God, people are exhausting. This person left a 1-star review and said, do not use vanilla in place of sherry. I just made this exactly as written and used vanilla since I didn't have sherry. It is now down the disposal. The smell alone was a huge indicator of what it would taste like. Whoever thought of vanilla with meat? Nasty. You did, Nancy. You did. You thought of vanilla with meat. It was your idea. You did that. Why are you leaving them a 1-star and making it seem like they're the idiots? You're like, how dare you tell me to put vanilla on my meat? They didn't. You thought of that. That was your idea. No one told you to do that because it sounds horrible. Why would you do that? Why are you blaming them for that? You can't make that their problem. What are you doing here? Nancy, go home. This is 1 star and it's titled, Let's Say I Almost. Let's say I almost made this. I used a Tupperware bowl, probably 45 years old, and when it got 2 minutes in the microwave with peanuts and butter, the bowl's bottom melted. Of course, in my panic, I tried to move it from the microwave to the sink and slung caramel syrup all over my stovetop, cabinet doors, and the floor. I guess you must use glass, not plastic. Who knew? I understand it's kind of a funny story. Right? That's kind of funny. You can absolutely tell that to your friends. You can post it on Facebook. Be like, I was an idiot. I was stupid. I put plastic Tupperware container in the microwave to make caramel sauce. and then it melted because I didn't check if it was microwave safe or not. That's quite funny. However, you're putting this on their recipe and leaving it 1 star as though it's their fault they didn't tell you. That's like you being like, how dare you not tell me not to put plastic, not microwave safe materials in the microwave. They didn't tell you to do that. This isn't their fault. Don't make this their problem. If you're gonna say shit like this, give it a 5 star. You know? There's no need to bring their rating down because you're an idiot. You know what I mean? Oh my god, there's so much of that. It's so funny. There's like people who straight up are just like, 1 star, do not like kale or chickpeas, skipping on this recipe. Like, you didn't have to do that. You didn't have to come in here and comment that. Like, you are not the center of the universe. They're not making these recipes for you. They don't give a fuck if you don't like it. If you don't like it, move on. Don't bring their rating down because you think that everything revolves around you. We don't need to know that you're skipping it. It's okay. Carry on, move on. Anyway, this was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this subreddit. If you want to see another one of these, please do let me know. Leave a like because I would love to make another one of these. So let me know if you're interested. A huge thank you to my Kiwi Cat patrons. Stella, Trippy Day 27, Bay the Trucker, Chastity, Beckett, Prismatic PT, LJ James D, MA Ping the Games, Blaze, Uh-Oh It's Craiglow, Phil the Duck, Jessie A, River, Queen Glimmer, Ella, Lady Nutbar, Mr. Noodle, Radsack, Knitting Menace, Samuel, Chris, Ellie, Alexis, and Bobby. I love and appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for joining. If you would like to be on Patreon, you go to patreon.com/savvycat or click the link in the description. For as little as £1 a month, you get my videos 1 to 5 days early and with no ads for those days. And then for £3 and up, you get a bunch more. And I would appreciate your support if you are able. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe. Keep fighting. I love you. Mwah. When you close your eyes.